How do you turn one income into three income sources? Stay tuned. Welcome to this week's edition of NoteSchool TV, episode number 264, and we are so glad to have you on today. We have an amazing guest, but before we get into that, let me do one quick thing. If you want to know more about what we do at NoteSchool, simply go to noteschool.com/TV. Again, noteschool.com/TV. Without any further ado, let me bring on our Chief Visionary Officer, founder of NoteSchool, my friend, Mr. Eddie Speed.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Letha.
Good morning. Hi, Joe.
Letha lives local here, and we thought it would be fun just to go do a live interview. So, yeah, welcome, Letha.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We're going to have a good time with Letha today. And, Joe, we are going to talk about a case study towards the end of the interview where they took one income source and turned it into three by changing from a rental property to a note. So we'll get into those details here in a little bit.
Very good.
And we are amped up to be here today and have Miss Letha with us.
All right. I'm going to jump off, and you guys have a great interview, and I'll see you on the back end.
All right.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, welcome, everybody. Letha, welcome to my office.
Thank you.
We're so glad you're here. And Letha Siddons is our guest today, and her husband, Chris, are NoteSchool members. And let's just kind of dig off into it. Let's talk a little bit, Letha, about the journey. And let's kind of start prior to NoteSchool, like what you were doing before you came to NoteSchool.
Well, before I came to NoteSchool, a lot of stuff, pretty busy. And I had a full-time job working at a global medical technology company. And I worked in their data analytics for several years and moved on over to their pricing and contracts department.
Mm-hmm.
That was very fulfilling. The experience was great. But I kind of was like, you know what? This is a lot of time, a lot of effort for what? I'm building the legacy for corporation instead of for myself and our family and our community. And I felt like, you know what? There's more to it than this.
I like it. So what would you say was your biggest frustration you were facing?
The frustration was I was putting in a lot of long hours and just feeling like, you know what? I'm helping somebody else. I'm helping a corporation. And these people, if I left tomorrow, if I died tonight, you know, I'd probably get a little flower arrangement sent to the family, and that would be about it. But spent almost 13 years with the company. So it was good. It was a good experience. But again, just not feeling that personal satisfaction. Like, what am I here for? What am I doing? There's got to be more than just working for a company.
So basically that was your reason to kind of make a change.
Yes. Yeah.
So
we started looking around. And then, of course, we're getting older. So we were also thinking about, we need to increase our retirement income.
Yeah.
So that was another reason we were like, what else can we do? We had a few rentals, and we invest in the stock market and, you know, all the good things, because my husband's quite the financial guy there. He's always looking one step further. What can we do? How can we grow? So, yeah, that was a big part of it.
I love it. All right. So you're working at a company, big box place, you know, a lot of employees, you know, you've got some rent houses, you're going down this path, you're trying to help yourself personally and then still make a living today. You're raising a family.
Yes.
Right. Great husband, Mr. Chris.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, like, how do you bump into this crazy company called NoteSchool?
Well, we were invited to attend Quest Expo. And so at Quest Expo, we were just, you know, oh, well, let's see what we get out of this, because a friend of ours is so big into Quest. And at the time, you know, so then we go to all the different speakers. And then we heard you speak about the benefits of mortgage notes. And I'm like, benefits of mortgage notes?
Yeah.
Come on. What do you mean? You know, so then, of course, I listened intently and I said, wait a second, Chris, maybe I should quit my job and do notes full time. And he looked at me and he's like, Maybe. Well, anyhow, that maybe turned into
At that event, you said that to him.
Yes, I did. I did say it to him. And he, Chris, and he looked at me and he was like, "You gonna leave all that money on the table? Like, that's great money that you made. Like, hey, can we really do that?" And I said,
that's
"Okay."
Awesome.
So then I was like, that was probably August. And by end of October, November, I said, you know what? I'm gonna go for it. I'm going to quit my job and just focus on building a mortgage note business. So we did your boot camp.
Yep.
And it was just, we've been Titanium members for a year now.
That's awesome.
So,
I appreciate that. Like you came from a very conservative background, but you felt like you had enough basis. We could help you land these ideas. And you weren't scared to go be an entrepreneur, and you weren't scared to go say, let's go do something that's better for us. And that's really cool. So the audience may or may not know, Quest was a company that did self-directed retirement accounts, right?
Yes.
And so we've taught a lot of people how to go do self-directed retirement account techniques. Speaking of which, let's go talk about your first deal.
Oh,
some retirement mailbox money concept. Let's talk about your first deal. What'd that look like?
All right. Well, our first deal was after we'd learned the techniques of, hey, you got rental properties. Guess what? You want to be a landlord forever? Do you want to keep dealing with tenants, toilets, all the mess?
Yeah.
And so I said, you know what? We've had this one property for 10 years. And I said, it's a great place to start. So then we offered a seller financing deal to the guy that did our maintenance and repairs for years. And he was so excited. He was like, don't put it out for sale. And then we talked to some of the realtors about it. And they were like, oh, you could price this, so much more. And they were trying to tell us, don't go low because of pricing and the rest of it. But we just felt like, you know what? This guy's been so good to us. We want to help him.
Yep.
So then when we offered him the deal, he was like, and we made sure that we set it up that it would work for him as well, based on what we knew the income numbers were, the rental income numbers were. And sure enough, he had great credit history. He had the 20% down payment. He could have paid 100%.
He could have paid all cash.
Definitely.
So you financed it. You're netting more income from that than you were renting it.
Yes.
Right. You sold it to your maintenance guy who was very qualified.
Absolutely.
He gave you 20% down. So now all of a sudden you're the bank on the property. You're not the landlord.
Correct.
Right. Okay.
Correct.
So I got that. All right. So now, wait a minute. You got 20% down.
Guess what?
What do you do with that 20%?
Money?
Yeah.
Bought our first note from Colonial.
So now you have a note on the property you sold, and now you bought a second note from us.
Absolutely.
Okay. So now you have two notes.
Absolutely.
Okay. Then what else did you do?
We did a pledge.
So you took your note on the rental property you sold, and you kind of like borrowing money on a boat or house. You borrowed money against that note.
Correct.
This is not a partial. It's borrowing money against the note.
It's a pledge.
It's a pledge. You pledge that note as collateral.
Yes.
Okay. And so now you have to pay your lender back every month.
Yes.
But you're keeping some income.
That's absolutely right.
Okay. So, but you now got a lump sum of cash from them.
Yes.
What'd you do?
Another pledge, another loan.
So you then loaned money on another note.
Yes.
Now you have three note income sources, right?
Absolutely.
You have the note where you sold the rental.
Yes.
You bought a note. And then all of a sudden, because you borrowed some money against that note, you end up with another lump sum of money.
That's correct.
And now all of a sudden, now somebody's paying you back on a third note.
That's right.
So you have three notes with, well, let's just get to the bottom line.
The bottom line is we were netting rental income $10,000 a year.
Okay.
We are now annual cash flowing $27,000 a year.
That's almost 3 times the money.
That's absolutely right. Thank you for teaching us about mortgage notes.
Well, and that was your first deal.
That was our first deal. And we've had more.
Yeah.
That was within 4 months of signing up.
Well, I think the key is this unique financial modeling, what we've just described, is something that you learn. You don't necessarily learn it in 20 minutes. You're not going to
No,
learn
I'm still
everything you
learning.
need to know.
I'm still learning.
You're not going to learn everything you need to know in one little quick Note School TV episode, right? But you start realizing what's possible. And then all of a sudden, we had the tools and resources and the mechanics to help you through that, right?
Absolutely.
And so that was kind of a big deal. But, I would say if I'm thinking like, I bet you there's so many people out there with rent houses that do not realize that they could do something like this. They just don't realize they could do it. And I look back at how smart you and Chris are. Very sophisticated people. Not, but once again, this was a little bit more creative than was in your eyesight.
Absolutely.
Which is what I see all the time.
It just grew, actually, because then we saw one part and then we're like, wait, what can we do with that? Yeah. And then, like I said, Chris is mine too. He'll just sit there and go, oh, and it's like, he loves it. He eats it up. Like his mom will call him and I'll say, guess what he's doing? He's on the computer trying to figure out how can we do another deal? How can we make it grow?
Letha, I think the important thing that I see is this. It's cool. Look, I love financial modeling. You know that, right?
Yes.
But it's more important really to think in terms of what changes your life.
Yes.
Right. And if we really look back, the real reason all this mattered was the ability to kind of change you and Chris. And now you have a daughter.
Yes.
Right?
And she's absolutely involved. She came to the boot camp and she's also learning. So even going through stuff with her, she's in college right now, but still we're teaching her along the way because this is really going to be in the end for her and her family someday.
We're surprised at how young people really dig into this, aren't we?
Yes, because they aren't taught these things in school.
Right.
How to budget, how to grow, and compounding. She was so like, whoa, they just don't know the benefits.
Well, you've seen my kids,
yes.
Right? Same thing. And all of a sudden, they really engaged more. But, I would say that it's a little bit like your story. Like, it's not that you didn't work hard and do great for your company.
Correct.
But you have a different gear inside you to do great for your family and your entrepreneurial endeavors, right?
Yes.
All right. So let's move forward. You've done more deals.
Yep.
You're creating cash flows just like you've done here.
Yes.
You've learned, I call it, I think, where you take one note and turn it into another note, and then all of a sudden you reposition around and now you've got 3 income sources. I call that financial modeling. People might be a little intimidated by it, but it's just learning. You're learning how to take $1 and stretch it a little bit.
Yes.
Is that true?
Yes.
Right. And so that's so cool. That is such a great story. And I want to talk about like where you're at the moment, where you guys see yourself now, and let's look forward a little bit. I want to kind of look out into the future a little bit and see like what does these changes you've made, what does that mean in your life situation?
Well, it's certainly given us more confidence and seeing the flexibility of mortgage notes. And we are looking towards building a business and getting that going, getting a website and doing, all of it to figure out how we're going to continue to, I like what, attract people to us. To say, hey, you know what? We saw that you took that deal and you did so good. And we share our story with people.
Yep.
And then they're like, wait a second. We've had young people, which has been exciting. People in their 20s, they're with my daughter and they're saying, oh, you mean we could do this? You mean? And then we're like, yes, you can share. We can fund it. We're just kind of coming up with a structure of how we want to develop our business.
Basically, what you're describing is a way to not just use your money, but use other people's money to help fund the endeavor. And you'll get paid more than them, but you do more than them.
Absolutely.
Right? It's not being unfair.
No.
It's just that you're doing more. You're the architect. You're the one that's finding the deals. You're the one that's putting deals together. And the thing, Letha, that I think is so impressive for me is that this is my biggest litmus test. every time.
Good.
And that is confidence. Like people say all the time, people buy training or coaching or membership or mentorship, whatever it is you want to refer to it as. People buy that for information. And I think you agree, you've gotten a lot of information. But way more important than information is we're listening to you today. You are speaking with confidence.
Excellent. Excellent. No, the mentoring from Note School did the majority of it for sure. Listening to you, getting on the Deal Labs, I love it. Just listening to other students going through their strategies, it challenges us to think outside the box. It's been so good. The modules when we first started, the membership modules, all the information on the website, you have it. You have everything for us to be successful. It's just if we are willing to take the time, listen to what you say, and then apply it.
Well, and once again,
and we're going to make mistakes, right?
Yeah, you listen. No, like making mistakes doesn't mean losing all your money, right? No. And that's the thing about it is, like I look at it. The most important thing is people try to go do this. The most important single ingredient is we just can't wake up one day and we've done something that costs us to just lose a big pile of money, right? And I think the way we're guiding you guys is that it leads you out of those risks. But most importantly is, now all of a sudden you're now feeling this. It becomes one deal at a time.
Yes.
Right. They say, how do you eat an elephant? Right.
One bite at a time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden you're a few deals down the way.
Yes.
This is where you are. You've got cash flow. You're making way more income on the assets that you have.
Yes.
You're now starting to expand it and reach out, talk to people about their money, other people's money.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go down the road a little bit.
Okay.
Like, what do you see? What does 10 years look like for you?
Wow. Retirement for sure. Grown. Hoping to have many more notes.
Yep.
That basically we can continue to live off interest and not messing with principal.
Right.
Being able to travel and work from anywhere in the world.
I like it.
Our daughter, she has any type of challenge. She does struggle with some physical challenges. So if she has to work, that she needs to learn that her degree is great.
Yes.
It's good to have. But having this, she can do this a couple of hours a day or a week from anywhere in the world and still be growing and earning sufficient income to take care of her needs.
Yeah, this is really the note business. A modern day note business is a technology business.
Absolutely.
We do all this really with a computer and connectivity. We have access to the internet. We have access to all the information that we need, all the deals to look at. There's people that physically can go put their boots on the ground to go look at a property for us or do whatever, but it doesn't have to be us. Right. And so I love what you're saying, and it does give you freedom. And, I don't know what really the next things holds for you, but I would say to you, you're probably not going to dream as big as your reality is, and that's okay. Right. But I can certainly see down the road with where you're going and how you're going about doing it and how you're going through the steps, right? You just wake up one day and it just keeps filling in.
Yes.
And it's one note that leads to the next note that leads to the next. And now you've kind of got that map in you guys' head.
Yes.
And you're implementing it. And I would just say, don't be shocked that you can own 200 notes.
Whoa. Okay.
Because I've seen it.
Well, that's great. I said 100, 200 is great too.
And you can then go buy lunch for those people you used to work with.
Oh, wow. That would be nice.
How about that?
That'd be great.
All right. Mr. Joe, come back in here.
Yes, sir. So, Letha, you and Chris are an inspiration. Couple of things you said, I just wanted to kind of go off of those. We hear a lot of times by our kids and, and so on. It's like, how do we invest? How do we make this happen with all the confusion? Doing this right here, what you guys are doing and showing your daughter is exactly what they need to be investing in.
They don't teach
And
college.
I think it's great. We showed a slide, Eddie, or you showed a slide at the appreciation event last week at Note Expo, and it had the top of the mountain with success, and then it had the 3 steps, right? So basically, it's learn, it's apply, or discover, learn, and then apply, and then you get that success. You got it very quickly. You and Chris did, Letha.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Still feel like we're learning every day, but I'll take it.
You stop learning, you stop growing, right? All right. Thank you so much, guys. I'll wrap us up here. Another episode of NoteSchool TV. Folks, we do appreciate you. As we're coming up on the holiday season this year, we certainly want to always express our appreciation to you guys for being on and hanging in there with us. If you'd like to know more about what we do at NoteSchool, simply go to noteschool.com/TV. We'd love to get you into a 2-day class and let you discover more and more about what it is we do. That's it for this week. Thanks so much. We'll see you next week. Same time, same place.